Alexei Navalny. Any idea what they might go after with Russia here with this round of sanctions? Or are we kind of just in the dark for what the White House might want to do?
Well, we are in the dark in terms of what exactly it would look like. They did give a timeline saying it will likely be on Friday, that there will be some sort of news, some further sanctions that we could see. But we have heard this before from the administration, that there would be consequences, and we have not seen that largely play out. It was on Friday something we were talking about a lot, is that 3 years ago when Navalny was arrested, President Biden was actually asked what would happen if Navalny were to die behind bars, and the president said that there would be severe repercussions and consequences. So when he had to respond to his very own words on Friday, he said, well, look, that was 3 years ago. In the meantime, there have been a lot of consequences for Russia, with the loss of soldiers fighting in the war in Ukraine, as well as sanctions that we've seen since the beginning of the war in Ukraine. But that was all, of course, as a result of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, not because of jailed citizens or opposition leaders. So what exactly the administration does come out with to counter what we've seen play out.
Now, all this as they continue to try and lobby Congress for more supplemental aid to send to Ukraine, which is having a tough time right now fending off this invasion, which is about to be 2 years old. Fox News foreign correspondent Alex Hogan in London. Alex, as always, we love having you on the program. Thanks for being with us on the Fox News Rundown Evening Edition podcast.
Thank you, John.
You've been listening to the Fox News Rundown. And now, stay up to date by subscribing to this podcast at foxnewspodcasts.com. Listen ad-free on Fox News Podcasts Plus on Apple Podcasts. And Prime members can listen to the show ad-free on Amazon Music. And for up-to-the-minute news, go to foxnews.com.
Along the way, I'll talk to people who have worked with him, dined with him, and fought with him, taking listeners into private conversations, all in an attempt to get a better understanding of who Drudge is and what motivates him. Hopefully, he'll even sit down with us. Listen to Finding Matt Drudge on the iHeartRadio.
Eviction. That's helping first-time home buyers get on the ownership ladder.
Now, financially struggling people and small businesses should expect to see some relief. Austin says lowering cost of living is an area of action in the upcoming budget being announced Thursday. In terms of health, in the last year, overall 20 pieces of legislation are expected to pass in this session, the last sitting before the provincial election on October 19th. Michael Williams, City News.
Province's latest housing plans have caught the attention of the federal government. City News 1130 Panama Nassau report. Ottawa is providing $2 billion towards the BC Builds program. The funding basically doubles what the program is now working with. BC Builds is focused on adding middle-class housing for people who make a certain income range, and is a program Prime Minister Justin Trudeau calls ambitious and fundamentally practical. The homes are needed desperately, especially in BC, which Trudeau describes as the canary in the coal mine when it comes to the housing affordability crisis across Canada.
Governments in particular ignored those warnings. Inaction by successive governments of all orders, investors buying up homes meant for middle-class families, and old-school zoning laws didn't let communities grow in ways that kept up with Canada have brought us to a tough spot.
Trudeau says the money will help fund up to 10,000 new homes in the next few years, with more to come. Panama Nassau, City News.
City News time 4:35. A deadly crash on Highway 1 in Burnaby this week has sent shockwaves through Maple Ridge. After one local was killed and 2 others were seriously injured. City News 1130's Catherine Garrett reports that the 4 families caught in the middle of the tragedy are now left to pick up the pieces. And a warning, this next story contains details that may be upsetting to some listeners.
Jennifer Miller says it's not often any of the 4 musketeers, as she calls her daughter and her friends, are ever spotted alone. The 4 young women have been friends for over a decade and were attached at the hip.
When they meet their parents, when they fall in love, when they hate each other, they always have the other one, right? There's 4 of them, and they all just, they do everything together. And now one of them